Hello, good evening. Welcome to Look North. Tonight, remembering Rob Burrow. We have a special programme from Headingley Stadium ahead of a Rhinos match dedicated to the former player on MND Awareness Day. It's almost 3 weeks since Rob lost his battle with the disease. His wife Lindsay says his legacy will live on.
I think the legacy that he leaves is just incredible, and despite the grief and despite the sadness, we have so much to be thankful for having Rob in our lives, and you know, he made the world a better place to be.
We'll hear from fans and players ahead of the match. Also tonight, a life sentence for the teenager found guilty of murdering 15-year-old Alfie Lewis. A leading academic calls on the National Institute for Clinical Excellence to think again over its stance on a drug which could help those living with MND. And mountain number 3 as MND campaigner Ian Flatt takes on the challenge of Snowdon.
And it's been another warm but breezy day today. Not wall-to-wall sunshine through the weekend, but some pleasant weather to come. It's turning increasingly warm and humid later in the weekend too. I'll be back later in the programme with your full forecast.
Hello, good evening. You're joining us from outside Headingley Stadium. You can see the fans are coming in through the front gates to where that lovely statue is, where people have been paying their tributes to Rob Burrow for the last few weeks. They're all here tonight for a really special match. It's Leeds Rhinos' first home match since Rob's passing 3 weeks ago. They'll take on Lee Leopards. Now, it's also MND Awareness Day, so tonight's match is dedicated to Rob Burrow. His wife, Lindsay, has been paying her own tributes to her husband, saying that the world is a better place to be in because of him. And also he had that legacy of hope. She's been speaking to Sally Nugent.
I couldn't put into words just how proud I am of Rob. I think he was just such an inspiration to so many people. He was the face of the MND community and gave so many people hope, and I think the legacy that he leaves is just incredible, and despite the grief and despite the sadness, we have so much to be thankful for having Rob in our lives, and you know, he made the world a better place to be.
What he did over the last few years, it was heroic, wasn't it? Because it was a fight at times.
Yes, yeah. And at the end, you know, the fight was over, and I take comfort from knowing that he's not having to fight anymore, and he put up the biggest, bravest fight. You know, he was brave on the rugby pitch, but to go on what he did, you know, in facing his battle with MND was just hugely courageous. I'm incredibly proud to have been Rob's wife for 17 and a half years, to have 3 beautiful children with Rob, you know, and that's what we have to focus on now, and the children are my priority, and I'll do everything I can to make sure that they're brought up just exactly as Rob would want them to be brought up, to be kind and caring, and you know, to appreciate the things in life, and Rob was very much like that. You know, he was very down to earth, never had an ego, just such a lovely, you know, lovely kind man.
His last message has been seen, read by millions and millions of people around the world.
I hope one day we finally cure and live in a world free of MND. By the time that you watch this, I will no longer be here. Rob Burrow, over and out.
He was, you know, positive, he was humorous, he was funny, and that was his just way of, you know, he leaving a stamp on the world, and I think that was just Rob in a nutshell. You know, Rob knew that that was going to be played after he was no longer with us, and it's just part of Rob and his humour and the banter, and it was just Rob. He's taught us all a huge lesson in life.
We know for the last couple of years, Rob was using his eye gaze machine to communicate with you. On that machine, there are messages you haven't heard yet. When the time is right, will you go through and look for them?
Yeah, I know Rob has left messages on there for the children. So at the minute, it's too raw to do that, to go and look through the machines. But there will come a day where I will have to do that, and yeah, Rob will be with me, and he'll be, you know, he'll give me the strength to do that, and it's important because those are the messages for the children, and they will be shared with the children.
And I know one of the things right at the start of this that both you and Rob said was you wanted to use the little time you had to make memories for the children?
Yeah, we have. That was what Rob wanted, and Rob was always such a family man, as I say, in every sense of the word. He idolised his children, and it was really important to us that we made those happy memories and we spent that time together. But Rob was such a devoted dad that, you know, he would come home from training early just to be with the children, and that was just Rob. He was just such a family man, and that's the hard part for me. That's what M&D has taken away, is it's robbed the children of a dad, and that's really hard.
Do you get angry about that?
No, because I just put it down to bad luck.
Yeah, lovely, Rob.
You know, nobody knows in life what path's going to take us on, and I just feel so fortunate to have been Rob's wife and to have the privilege of looking after Rob. We can't change that, what's happened, and when I spoke to Rob and he said he wouldn't change his life, you know, there was nothing that he would change, and that's really comforting to know that he had an incredible life and achieved so much. So yeah, just incredibly proud.
Such a moving and beautiful interview there with Lindsay Burrow. I think we all continue to be amazed by her strength, don't we? Now, it wasn't just Lindsay and the family who were proud of Rob. We all were, weren't we? Because he was a local lad who was a hero both on and off the pitch. You only have to look behind me at that memorial to see how loved he was. People are continuing to come in to pay their respects 3 weeks after his passing. Yes, he was a rugby league legend, but he was also an MND campaigner. Phil Bodmer now is going to take a look at his legacy, and he's gone back to Featherstone, where Rob's fascination, if you like, with rugby league really started.
It's a town steeped in rugby league tradition, a place which has a strong allegiance to a sporting legend. A young Rob Burrow would discover his love for a game that helped define his illustrious career. He played at junior level with Featherstone Lions, but was also familiar to those at longer established Featherstone Rovers.
We had so many good memories down here, you know, obviously playing, driving to games, listening to Tina Turner, simply the best, we all did it. And then after the games we'd go to the Rustic Arms in Ackworth.
What did you get your sporting legacy?
Rugby league is not all about size. There's opportunities for smaller people who, as long as they've got the talent that Rob's got.
Alongside the sporting legacy, Rob was devoted to raising awareness of motor neuron disease. His dream was to have a specialist centre for people living with the condition to provide the best possible care and support.
I think there's very few people, as a result of Rob's work, that will know or not know about M&D now across the country. He made himself available at a time of his greatest vulnerability. And yes, bricks and mortar, his name will live on as a legacy at the centre.
Increasing the profile of MND has provided a huge sense of pride for those who knew and worked alongside one of rugby league's finest players.
He played Featherstone Lions, he played for the Travellers in Featherstone, and indeed he's coached in the area as well, junior teams. His legacy in this town, which is enshrined in rugby league, will be right up there alongside his links with Leeds Rhinos. You know, this town feels tremendous allegiance to Rob and his family.
There is a collective sense of loss among the rugby league community. On-field rivalries put aside, united in memory and a legacy that will live on. Phil Bodmer, BBC Look North, Featherstone.
Well, you join us inside the stadium now, pitch side. There's a curtain raiser going on behind us. Youth teams, Leeds versus Huddersfield. And I'm joined by Rob Burrow's former teammate and friend, Danny Badiris, and also Harry Newman, who is a player for the Leeds Rhinos, who was also coached by Rob Burrow. Danny, let's come to you first, because you've come from the other side of the world for this, Australia. Why is it so important that you are here tonight?
Yeah, obviously this night is a very important night. It means a lot to a lot of people, but most importantly, I saw the game in 2020, Jamie Jones' testimonial here, and wow, that was just don't know, a band of brothers coming together, and I just thought if I ever got an opportunity to get asked to come across, I'll definitely jump at it. So, yeah, just to play a small role, to be here, support the Rhinos, support the current team, and it meant a lot to a lot of people within this organisation and within the community. So, yeah, he's a special man. It's a special night.
And what was he like as a teammate?
Yeah, he was always at you. He was always at the opposition as well. So yeah, a lot of life, a lot of energy, a lot of fun, and he was a special talent, you know. And you know, that iconic try in 2011, I think, was really special from the point of view that was Rob Burrow.
Thank you, Danny.
No worries.
Let's have a chat now to you, Harry. You were coached by Rob in the very early days of his coaching career. What was he like in that role?
Just inspirational. I think the word inspirational sums Rob up. Not only as a player, but since everything he's done since his diagnosis with motor neuron disease, and as a young lad coming through the system at Leeds, to learn off someone like Rob, yeah, I don't think you could ask for better.
And was there anything in particular that he taught you?
Probably his footwork. I'll never ever be as good as Rob at that. I think the legacy that Rob's created, not only here at the club since he's been playing, but since his diagnosis, it's been massive. And see how many people are coming here tonight. I think the stadium's sold out. It shows the inspiration he was to not only his family, his friends, but all the fans as well.
Yeah, it certainly does. Thank you to you both. Well, as we heard there, it's going to be a really special night for the rugby league community here tonight. And when Rob was first diagnosed with MND, and actually throughout his whole MND journey, he was really passionate about one day finding a cure for motor neuron disease. And that is being worked on at the moment by a research centre at the University of Sheffield. In fact, there is one treatment in particular which seems to be helping some people with a particular form of MND, but a leading academic says that they're concerned as to whether it will ever actually be available on the NHS. Tom Ingle reports.
The research centre at the University of Sheffield is called Citran. What it really means is hope. It's been open since 2010, and it's where Professor Dame Pam Shaw leads a team of academics and students in the quest for treatments for motor neuron disease. You've dedicated something like 40 years of your life into researching MND. If you could have double that time, maybe even another 100 years of research, where do you think we're going?
I'm not sure we're going to find an overnight cure, but I think step by step we should be able to detect the condition earlier, intervene with treatments earlier, and use that precision medicine approach to target the right treatment to the right subgroup of patients, just like cancer doctors do.
One recent trial is of a drug called tofersen.
I've done 25 trials of experimental treatments for MND. This is the first one where patients have been reporting I'm stronger than I was 6 months ago. So patients spontaneously reporting I can do things now, climb up my garden steps, write my Christmas cards.
After numerous tests, I was diagnosed with MND on May 2022.
MND affects different people at different rates. Nonly's story will be different to everyone else's. Tofersen appears to work for a small number of people who have a change in one particular gene. In other words, a fraction of the population. But the National Institute of Clinical Excellence say it's a standard drug rather than a treatment for a specialised condition.
I really disagree with the stance that NICE are taking at the moment. I think the sponsoring company feel that if it goes down the standard route, it will never get approved through that system. It needs to be the highly specialised route for a rare condition.
NICE have told us this therapy does not meet the criteria for the highly specialised technologies programme, and they won't review the decision. Citran is poised to expand in the next couple of years, and now they want regulators to come through for people living with MND too. Tom Ingle, BBC Look North, Sheffield.
Well, we will be back here at Headingley a little bit later on in the programme, but let's cross now to Phil in the studio with the rest of the day's news. Phil, it's all yours.
Amy, thank you. A 15-year-old boy who murdered another teenager in Leeds in what's being described as a senseless attack has been detained for life. Badia Shojayefard, who can be named today for the first time, stabbed Alfie Lewis through the heart with a kitchen knife in November last year. He must serve at least 13 years. Alfie's family say that's not enough. Corinne Wheatley has the story.
Family and friends of Alfie Lewis left court for the last time today, remembering the boy they love. Alfie, your absence is felt every second of every day, and our lives are forever changed by what has been taken from us. We will never be complete again. We are broken. All we can do now is speak your name every day, spend our time reminiscing the joy you brought us, and live with the aching hearts that we are left with.
Alfie Lewis was 15, described today as loving and caring and a big-hearted boy who loved football and music. He was stabbed twice, once through the heart, without warning on the 7th of November last year. The court heard it was a senseless attack in front of many witnesses. Today, the judge in the case lifted restrictions that up to now had prevented the identification of Alfie's young killer. He is 15-year-old Bardia Shajayafard, a boy, the judge said, who had a worrying interest in knives. These photos were found on his phone and shown at the trial. CCTV footage, only now released publicly, shows him running from the scene after the attack. Sentencing Bardia Shajayafard, Mr Justice Cotter said, "Why you chose to do what you did, only you know." He went on to say, despite the prison sentence, "You will be able to have an enjoyable life, a family, a career, experiences. You took all this away from Alfie. You also gave his family a life sentence of pain." The boy has been told he must serve a minimum of 13 years, minus the 228 days he's already spent on remand.
We're devastated by the sentence handed out today by Mr Justice Cotter and do not feel this demonstrates how serious the actions of Alfie's murderer have been. Alfie will be forever 15. Knife crime is an epidemic affecting our youth, even when they are innocent, as Alfie was. Our efforts now must go on trying to influence the changes which are needed to the law to stop our babies being killed so senselessly.
In court, Alfie's family read victim impact statements. His mum, Heather Lane, said Alfie was a peacekeeper. She said they danced and laughed together, that even when they fell out, he would text to say, "I'm not talking to you, but I love you." His relatives said nothing could bring Alfie back, but spoke of keeping his memory alive. The question of why he was ripped violently from them will perhaps never fully be answered.
Alfie, your mum loved you for 15 years and thought she would have you here with her for the rest of her life. We love you, we miss you, and we will do forever. Thank you.
Corinne Wheatley reporting from Leeds Crown Court. Today was the first of our general election debates hosted by our political editor James Vincent.
It's got a lot of history, this patch. Your voice, your vote. Welcome to the Sheffield Hallam 2024 general election debate.
Candidates standing in the Sheffield Hallam constituency faced questions on a range of different topics, from housing and the NHS to climate change and Brexit. The questions were all from voters from the region on issues that matter to them. Now you can watch and listen back to the debate on BBC iPlayer and on BBC Sounds if you search Your Voice, Your Vote and then find the Sheffield debate episode. On Wednesday, it will be candidates from West Yorkshire who will be quizzed, and on Thursday, it will be North Yorkshire's turn. OK, let's go back to Heading now with Amy. Amy.
Phil, thank you. Well, that match starts in just over an hour's time. You can see it's getting really busy now behind us. I want to introduce you now to Dr. Agam Jung. She's a consultant neurologist in Leeds and she treated Rob. Good to see you, Dr. Jung. What was Rob Burrow like as a patient?
Oh, he was absolutely amazing, full of positivity, and he had this real innocence about him and this positivity that he had, and a good laugh, always a good laugh.
Yeah, I was going to say he was always cheeky, wasn't he?
Always.
Dr. Agam, your vision was the Rob Burrow Centre for MND. Would it have been possible at all without Rob?
Not at all, not at all. You know, you can have as many ideas as possible, but without the right support, it's not going to happen. And Rob made the entire difference to this. He's changed the narrative of motor neuron disease, and he's changed the future trajectory of MND.
You only have to look here tonight. People are wearing shirts with the MND colours on them. This whole match is dedicated to him. Nearly 20,000 people are expected here tonight. What does that do for the MND community?
I think it brings hope. It brings hope and, as again, totally positivity. And I think it's a very poignant moment.
How are you feeling ahead of this match tonight?
I think, I'm very proud of Rob, and I saw Rob play rugby in 2003, so it is, I'm quite emotional about it. And but again, the positivity, the fantastic spirit out here, I think this will be a really lovely tribute to him.
he was more than a patient, wasn't he? He became a friend.
Yes, he was. He really became a friend to me, and we shared many a laugh, and we had philosophical discussions, but always with laughter in them. So yes.
Well, it's really good to speak with you, and we're really looking forward to that M&D Centre opening really soon. Another one of Dr. Jung's patients is Ian Flatt. I'm sure you remember Ian. He was really inspired by Rob and Kevin's challenges, so much so took on his own challenges a few years ago. The current one is 7 mountains, so 7 mountains in 3 weeks in 3 countries. This is mountain number 3 for him. So far he's tackled Whernside, Borfell. Today was Snowdon. Kathy Killick has been catching up with him.
The official definition of a mountain in the UK is a landform over 2,000 feet, so climbing 7 of them in 3 weeks would challenge anyone. When the climber has MND, it's a Herculean effort. That hasn't put off Ian Flatt, though. Snowdon, or Iarwyther to give it its Welsh name, is 3,500 feet, the highest of Ian's mountain challenges, successfully scaled today, despite the high winds and low cloud. This was Ian's first climb, Whernside, at the weekend. With conditions so treacherous, the team had to turn back just shy of the summit. Even so, Ian and his wife Rachel radiated a positive attitude.
People are so kind. It just shows how much support there is for the M&D community, and more importantly for the Rob Burrow Centre. You know, that's what today's all about.
Wild Boar Fell was scaled on Wednesday with kinder weather this time. It's the 4th highest peak in the Yorkshire Dales, so no picnic, but Ian and the team are highly motivated, inspired by Rob Burrow and the ultimate aim to raise money for the MND Centre in Leeds. Earlier today, despite his own huge mountain to climb, Ian sent a message to the MND community on this special day for them.
And I hope that everything goes brilliantly at Leeds Rhinos tonight, and it's a great celebration of Rob. We're all carrying a little bit of him in our hearts today.
The climbs are symbolic of the MND experience, a tough, cruel struggle which needs a team to make it bearable. As Ian says, we all have mountains to climb. It's just so much easier when we do it together. Kathy Killick, BBC Look North.
Gosh, that weather up Snowdon. Well done, Ian. You're a total inspiration. Best of luck with the rest of those challenges. As you heard there, Ian is trying to raise money for that Rob Burrow Centre for MND. So far, he's raised over £30,000 in all the challenges that he's done in the last few years. I want to talk to you about some of the shirts that you can see the fans wearing here tonight. Take a look at these images from inside the locker room. It's a new strip that the players will be wearing. It's the blue and orange, those MND colours. Number 7 has got Rob Burrow's signature on it, and if you look really closely, there's a hologram of Rob and Kevin Sinfield. Let me just show you this shirt. This is one of the fan shirts, so you can see there that beautiful image of the friends there on the back. Now, this was actually designed by an MND patient, and £10 from the sales of these shirts will go to that Rob Burrow Centre for MND. So far they've sold over 5,000 of these. Amazing, isn't it, to see so many people wearing those tonight. Right, we're going to hear now from some of the people who've come down tonight for this really special match. Paul Ogden's been talking to them.
It means quite a lot to us because I'm part of the York Knights Learning Disability Rugby League team, and seeing Bob Burrow and Kevin Sinfield was my inspiration from the golden era for Leeds Rhinos.
What an absolute legend, and what an amazing family as well. It means a great deal for us to be here tonight. We've travelled all the way down from the Scottish borders. We also know the family, the Weir family, so MND is a big thing that's affected us all greatly.
Rob was an inspiration to everyone, and I've been coming since about 2013, 2014, just before the treble. And with his speed and everything, it was just amazing. So yeah, I hope the team does really well.
He would like everybody to enjoy it. Yeah, he would. Yeah. He'd love everyone to just get behind them, which is what he always did.
Some of the people who have come to watch the match this evening. Well, it's been glorious weather all day today here down at Headingley Stadium. Let's cross over to Keighley now to see what the weekend has in store. It's all yours, Keighley.
Thank you very much, Amy. Yes, we reached 23 degrees in a few spots today. Temperatures will take a little bit of a dip tomorrow, and there will be a lot of cloud around during the morning, but it should brighten up through the course of the day. With increasing amounts of sunshine through the afternoon, there is the risk of a few showers tomorrow as well, but not very many of them. And then we import tropical air for Sunday and the early part of next week, so becoming increasingly warm and humid. I think the peak of those temperatures on Monday, and then the risk of showers from Tuesday onwards. So we have seen more clouds spilling in from the west over the last few hours, and that cloud is associated with a front that's going to affect us overnight. So 1 or 2 showers this evening, and then this front gradually spreading eastwards through the course of the night. Fairly light and patchy for most of us. It fizzles out as it spreads eastwards, temperatures down to around 12 or 13 degrees. Quick look at those high water times. Your next high water in Filey and Scarborough at just gone 5 o'clock. So a cloudy start to the day tomorrow. That cloud will gradually thin and break from the west. There is the risk of a few showers tomorrow, not very many of them. Increasing amounts of sunshine from the west through the afternoon, and temperatures lifting to around 20 or 21 degrees. Still above average for the time of year, and feeling pleasant in that strong June sunshine. Tomorrow evening looks fine with some spells of sunshine, a lovely part of the day tomorrow. And then into Sunday, it looks like there'll be a fair amount of cloud at times, but also some spells of sunshine. Warmer on Sunday, humid too, and then that heat builds into the early part of next week. Monday looks fine and dry with some sunshine and feeling very warm, Amy.
Thanks, Keely. Well, there's no doubt it's going to be a really emotional match tonight for Rob's family, but also all the fans that are inside that stadium. It's nearly 3 weeks since Rob's passing at the age of 41, as he lost his battle with motor neurone disease. But as you can see here, it's an atmosphere filled of love and positivity, and that's exactly how Rob Burrow lived his life, didn't he? We'll of course have more on Rob in the next few weeks, but from all of us here, good night, have a lovely weekend.